Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles, and I welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, when we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. Many of you already understand my feelings towards Ben Simmons. I think he's a guy that is wasted, or a guy that is wasting his opportunity in the NBA and is wasting his talents. I've always said that I feel like he's one of the laziest players to come through the NBA in quite some years. If we're talking about somebody that had that much raw talent, right? Ben Simmons is arguably more talented than Giannis Antetokounmpo. If you just look at his entire gifts, his total package, he's like that. He's a very, very talented guy, but it just seems to be a person that's just wasting his time and everybody else's time. I remember the late and great Kobe Bryant a number of years ago, I think 2+ years ago, where he basically said I think it was in an event, and someone asked him about Ben Simmons and his development, and he said that Ben Simmons is going to regret, if he's not careful, he will regret not improving his jump shot and improving his game. This was something that was said multiple years ago. And if you look at Ben Simmons now, it's clear to see that that statement just went through one ear and out the other. If you look at some of his numbers, and this is the reason why I don't even understand why Ben Simmons has a gripe with anybody. If you look at his numbers, let's just compare his last two seasons, right? Season prior, the 2019-2020 campaign, he averaged 16 points per game. He shot 58% from the field, 28.6% from the three-point line, 62% from the free throw line. And by the way, that 28.6%, he probably took like two or three threes, or because that season he averaged 0.1 3-pointers and made 0, right? So I didn't even know how he was able to record a 3-point percentage. He got 7.8 rebounds, shooting percentage went down to 55.6%, 3-point percentage is 30%. He attempted 0.2, made 0.1. He probably made 1 3, I don't know. 61% from the free throw line. Those numbers dipped as well. And Ben Simmons is just one of these guys that just hasn't even improved his playoff numbers. Let me just give you his playoff stats last year, right? Where all of this really originated. Last year in the playoffs, Ben Simmons scored 12 points per game. Think about this. A guy making all this noise scored 12, and that's why Shaq said he's not even that good for us to be sitting here talking about him like this. He scored 12 points per game. He shot 62% from the field. Again, 0% from the three-point line, 34%. Think about this. In 12 playoff games, he shot 34%, 34.2% to be exact, from the free throw line. 34%. There was a guy on the court in their starting five with the Philadelphia 76ers that was shooting 34% from the free throw line. No wonder he didn't want to go to the free throw line. If you look at his fourth quarter stats, they were just abysmal, horrendous, right? Nevertheless, Ben Simmons just hasn't been improving. And this is one of the reasons why I just don't understand to this day why he feels a type of way, and it's baffling. To be quite honest with you, he somehow feels as if this is somebody else's fault, when in reality, the person you need to be looking at is in the mirror. If you improved your basketball game, you played a lot better, you wouldn't even be in a situation like that. I can't think of any other NBA players in the playoffs, marquee players, all-star players that had to deal with that in the playoffs except you. And now we want to make it about what his coach said and what his teammates said in Joel Embiid, instead of actually focusing on his game. I think is a joke. Somebody had the nerve to say, "Oh, Ben Simmons is not mentally weak. He just has a mental block, and that's the reason why he doesn't shoot." I'm like, bro, laziness is a mentality. What are we talking about here? Laziness or some type of mental block causes inaction. What is a thing that causes you not to do things, that causes you to be late? Isn't it a mindset? How do you explain somebody that's hardworking? Isn't it a mindset? Are people just robots? You press a button on their back and then they go out there and do things. So that's the first thing. But now we're getting another bit of news here that I got from Yahoo Sports, that just totally floored me. Because now it looks as if Ben Simmons, not only is he, messing up his legacy, his reputation, he's also willing to lose millions of dollars in the process in doing so. So to me, this entire thing is just a one big brain fart. Anyway, let me get into what this article had to say here. It says Ben Simmons reportedly fined $19 million by the 76ers this season and could lose $12 million more. The situation between Ben Simmons and the Philadelphia 76ers continues to be a thing. Even if we don't hear too much about this standoff anymore, Simmons is still, on the Sixers, is still refusing to play. Everyone knew that it would be costly of Simmons, who after this season still has 3 years left on his $114 million remaining on his contract. But until now, we don't know just how costly it will be. It continues on. Simmons has lost over $19 million in fines since the season began. Each missed game cost him about $360,000. He hasn't cleared a paycheck since the $8.2.5 million, 25% of his $33 million salary that was due on October 1st. Every 2 weeks, the team sends a notice with an explanation of all the fines he has accumulated for failing to render services. Instead, $1.375 million paycheck. By the end of this season, if he does not play for the Sixers or any other team, Simmons could lose another $12 million this season. Let's be honest. Who here is surprised by any of this? No, seriously. Let's just take a moment and ask ourselves this question. Who here is really surprised by this? Let me tell you something. The moment he started blaming others for what happened in the playoffs last year, I already knew that it was just the beginning of what was going to come, right? Because, when you think about this series of events that has happened with Ben Simmons, you ask yourself, like, who's leading it? Who's advising this guy? And now you're willing to take some principled stand and lose $19 million or $20 million or whatever it is, $25 million in a season? For what exactly? And all of that money you're losing it because what? Joel Embiid and Doc Rivers said, 1 or 2 comments about you. You're willing to lose all of that money because of that? Are you kidding me? Is this the worst thing that's ever been said to you in your life? That you're willing to sit out on principle? That I'm going to blow $20 million because these guys said this about me? So the fact that you went out there and stunk up the joint, played like garbage, that is exactly how you characterize that type of play. In the playoffs, if you go look at those numbers, especially those fourth quarter numbers, which I'm not even going to waste any time talking about because it's a waste of our time. If you go look at those numbers, how in the end do you feel that, okay, the issue wasn't how you played. The issue was what was said. My question to you is this. Was it Joel Embiid and your coach that put you in a position to fail, or was it you? If you had improved your basketball game, like everybody had been saying, would you have even been in a situation where you had a shot to go up and dunk the ball or lay it up to take the lead or tie the game and you passed it up? Whose fault is that? Is it Joel Embiid? Is it Doc Rivers? They stated the obvious, for God's sakes. The obvious was that was a turning point in the game. Was it the only point? Was it the only thing that cost you the series? No. But it was a pivotal moment, and you know it. You know it. If it was just one of these run-of-the-mill plays, somebody would be sitting there spending all their time talking about this. So for me, listen, this is what I think. If I was the Philadelphia 76ers, if I was the owner of that team, okay, I wouldn't move him at all if it was me. Now, some people feel otherwise. I wouldn't move him at all. If I have an opportunity to recoup all of my money, I would recoup all of it on your back. All of it. No single player is going to come in and basically dictate the terms of how I run my team. It just won't happen. We'll sit there. I owe you, $114 million on the contract? No problem. We don't have to win the championship. It's fine. I mean, we're most likely not going to win anyway. Hell, we didn't win last year with you. So chances are we're not going to win with you if you came back again. No problem. You know what? I'll sit down. Let me recoup my money. I'll recoup my money. Whatever. That's what I would do. Now, some people may say, well, you're going to hurt the chances of the team winning. I don't see them. They weren't going to win the championship with him anyway. They weren't going to win it with him anyway. Let's just be honest. So to me, that's exactly what I would do. That's exactly what I would do. I'll just sit down. I'll be like, okay, so this guy doesn't want to pay. Just keep finding him. Please let me know how much we found. He's been fined this month. Keep it going. That's what I would do. I wouldn't. There's no way. There's no way. I can understand if this was somebody that was balling and doing their thing and, really playing hard, and somehow, some way the coach and the other player blamed it. Then I'll say, okay, wait a minute. This guy, he has a real gripe here, right? He has a case. But if it's for what I saw, and you think you're just going to do whatever you want and I'm going to capitulate into your demand, it ain't going to happen. I'll fine you the whole $114 million. If you want to sit at home for the next 3 years. No problem with me. No problem with me. Some people say you're hard. Whatever. It's business. If you want to if you want to think you're going to come in here and just run my bit, it ain't going to happen. Not you, not your agent, not nobody. I'm the big boss here. Last time I checked, I was the one that had a B behind my name. It ain't going to happen. So those are my thoughts and opinions. Whatever you guys think about this, leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Again, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Once again, this is Charles here from Dreamerspro. Wishing you guys an amazing day and catch you guys on the next episode.